Welcome into the Panthers.com video mailbag presented by CEENTA. Staff writer Max Henson here answering your questions ahead of Week 16 against the Bucs. We got our first question from Stephen Wise, who asks, how does having Olsen back and the emergence of Damiere Byrd impact the diversity offense? And does this mean Funchess won't get the targets he did earlier? Well, first, let's start with Greg Olsen, as you mentioned. I mean, his 100-yard performance against Green Bay was just a huge sigh of relief, really, for Greg and for this entire team. I mean, to have him playing the way he's capable of playing, what more can you say? I mean, it's a Pro Bowl tight end, one of the best in the NFL. Of course, putting him back in the lineup and playing at that level is going to do wonders for your offense. And how about Damiere Byrd? I mean, this is a guy, obviously, who doesn't have the credentials of a Greg Olsen, has been trying to make his mark in this league for a few years now. And after that arm injury, he was able to come in and score his first 2 career touchdowns against Green Bay. And you talk about that first one. I mean, talk about a touchdown you will never forget for your first ever. That was simply incredible to come down with that ball in the back of the end zone. And then it was another one, the one later in the game, that proved to be the game winner for the Panthers. So Damiere Byrd's emergence is another huge thing for this offense in addition to the way Olsen played, just because it gives this team more weapons and gives Cam Newton more weapons to work with. And we've been waiting to kind of see that happen. After the Kelvin Benjamin trade, we knew there was going to be a lot of attention on Devin Funchess, and he's played well. But the fact that he only had 1 catch for 19 yards against Green Bay and the offense was still able to function the way it did, I think speaks to the positivity surrounding this group right now, that they have multiple ways that they can get people involved and they can be successful in the passing game. They don't have to rely on just 1 or 2 guys. So yeah, 88 being back to his old form, having Damiere Byrd making plays. Of course, we talked about already Devin Funchess and the way he's playing, and Christian McCaffrey, who had a tremendous outing against Green Bay. I mean, there are a lot of different ways this offense can beat you right now, and that's what you need, especially this time of year. We got our next question from Matt Barber, who asks, how did a 10-4 team only get 1 Pro Bowl player? That defense is too good to only have Luke on the Pro Bowl roster. Well, there was certainly some surprise around here that only 1 Panther was named to the Pro Bowl. That, of course, as you mentioned, being Luke Kuechly. He's going to his 5th straight. He's a lock at this point, but as you said, with a 10-4 team, you would think maybe a few others would get some Pro Bowl nods. And I think there was some legitimate gripes and some legitimate snubs here on this Panthers team. You look at the defensive line, for instance, Mario Addison and Julius Peppers each have 10 sacks, and KK Short's one of the best interior D linemen in the NFL. None of those guys were named for the Pro Bowl. I thought that D-line deserved at least 1 representative. You know, on the offensive line, you can look at Darrell Williams and Andrew Norwell as 2 guys that were deserving of maybe their first Pro Bowl nods with the way they played. But you know, I think the bottom line, and as Ron Rivera said, it was a little disappointing to only have 1 guy go. But as a 10-4 team, to be where they are with 1 Pro Bowl player, I think speaks well to the collective effort they've gotten from everybody. And you know, as I've seen from fans on Twitter who are rightfully frustrated to not see more Panthers get to the Pro Bowl, I think everybody is more concerned about that other bowl. I think you know the one I'm all referring to. So maybe that is a little bit of a motivating factor for this team as they go forward, as hopefully through a long playoff run. We've got our last question from Caro Panthers guy, who asks, have the last 2 wins against Minnesota and Green Bay showed Carolina is more than capable, scoring points when needed and playing defense well enough to secure wins? Well, it's a long question. I think the gist of it really is, has Carolina shown that they're legitimate contenders? And you know, you look at the past few weeks, that huge game against the Minnesota Vikings team that came in red hot, and then a game against the Green Bay Packers, who had gotten Aaron Rodgers back and were fighting for their playoff lives. To come away with wins in those 2 games and the fashion they did, I think, yeah, Carolina is putting the rest of the league on notice a little bit here. And the scariest thing for the rest of the league right now is the confidence and the swagger that this Carolina team is playing with. And that starts, of course, with Cam Newton, the quarterback of this team. And we've always said it, this group goes as he goes, and you can see it right now. The kind of energy and confidence that this team has got right now is what's making it kind of all come together. And that's on the offensive side of the ball, defensive side of the ball, special teams. Everything seemingly is starting to click for this team at the right time. Obviously, there are points in games where things haven't gone exactly as you'd like to see them go, but they're managing to pull out these victories, and that's what it's about this time of year. And you're starting to just feel a snowball effect. And this is, of course, the time you want to see that happen as the Panthers are getting ready for the end of this regular season and hopefully a playoff push. So we'll see how things go going forward, but right now I think, yeah, this Panthers team is showing you that it's got what it takes to make a run. Thanks for the questions this week, everybody. We'll do it again next time right here on Panthers.com.